All right, welcome to another man's point of view. Today, first ever fight night with Space Luchador. Now, this is only a test, so I'm gonna go ahead and explain what the problem is. Right? This is what happens when you become a mark, all right, in anything. Now, those that are not aware know or should know now, I am a professional wrestler, right? So I know a things or two about that sport. Now, UFC is no different. So I'm gonna go ahead and explain to you, right, how the man's point of view and relationship based, right, psychology is in play, believe it or not, in the UFC and professional wrestling for that matter, and in movies and everything that you see, touch, and see, because it's the Matrix. Understand that. This is what happens when you become a mark. Now, I could start the video with this, and I'm going to show you the example, right?
Internet celebrity Andrew Tate was a former kickboxer, four-time world champion with a record of 76-9 or 43-9. But what's certain is that he had 9 losses. Tate was knocked out only one time, as he says, but everywhere it is stated that he was knocked out 3 times. This is the whole problem with Andrew. His interviews contradict each other, the record is constantly changing, and the useless ISKA organization, according to him, is the mecca of kickboxing. Therefore, now I will analyze Tate's career in detail, after which we will analyze his skills. Spoiler: Andrew's fans won't like the verdict. Career.
Now, I could do that, but I'm not going to critique him. Why? Because that's not what he is now known for, which is part of the problem. That's why I said when you become a mark, you miss the point, right? Perfect example right there. Andrew Tate is not known for his fighting skills. He is known now for talking about women and relationships. Spoiler alert, the exact same thing that Space Luchador is talking about. So, as you can see, that's irrelevant, right? Which is my point. Now, I'm going to give you another video here, and this is what we're actually going to talk about.
Dana White's emotionally charged and rash decision to announce a brand new light heavyweight title fight at UFC 283 in Brazil between Glover Teixeira and Jamal Hill was just made because he was coping with his anger for Paddy Pimblett's fight against Jared Gordon.
What you see before you is the exact definition of a mark. Now, why is this guy being appointed by the Space League as the biggest mark? Well, right for now. But the UFC is full of marks. Wrestling's full of marks, right? The movie industry is full of marks. This is a guy that is talking about something he absolutely knows not a damn thing about, as you can see. Why would he use the words that the Space Luchador has used in a relationship based aspect, right? What he's saying is that Dana White lost his shit, lost control, emotional based, right? Because he got angered at this and that, and he's talking about everything other than what's actually going on because he don't get it. He's a mark, which is my point, right? Just like the Andrew Tate video, why is everybody attacking Andrew Tate's career, right, as a fighter, right? They should be attacking what he is running his mouth about, right? Not his career. It's the same thing. I see it all the time everywhere. It's like the one thing, right? The one thing that's actually the problem is the one thing that everybody misses, that nobody talks about, right? As you can see, he's talking about Dana White's anger. Yes, because he doesn't understand what the sport is. And I dare say, some of the fans, right, and the critics, especially the reporters, don't know a damn thing about the sport, even though they claim to be the so called experts. I'll tell you right now, they're not, because they don't know a damn thing about the sport of professional wrestling. Now, believe it or not, the UFC and professional wrestling is one and the same. With a few differences, yes, that I'm not going to touch here now, but I'm going to explain to you exactly what the UFC is right right now. Something that the mark don't know or don't care to understand. Right? Now let me show you a little bit more of what he says and then I'll go ahead and explain what the UFC is all about.
And because he couldn't publicly be upset at Paddy Pimblett, because that's the UFC's investment that they're trying to protect, and they have to kiss Paddy's ass and make sure that he thinks he's a star so that they can have somewhat of a glimmer of hope to have a star like Conor one day. Because he couldn't be angry at Paddy publicly, he decided to use Magomed Ankalaev and Jan Blachowicz' fight as a scapegoat to take out all of that emotional turmoil that the UFC brass had so that they could then make something happen.
So there you go. Clearly you don't understand. Why? Because listen to what he's actually saying. He's bitching and moaning about Dana White not liking his fighters. Now he doesn't understand that the UFC is actually a promotion, money based promotion, right? Because you've never been on the marquee, you wouldn't know that, right? Now, I've been there, I know how it works. And this is how it works. Now, I'm going to go ahead and explain to you how it works. Promotion, that is, right? The behind the scenes, which is pretty basic.